This marine meets modern theme of the Elsner's West Coast home is part 2 of their South African adventure. Before moving here, this German couple immigrated to the Winelands, married, and set up a successful building and interior design business. But with career success came added stress, and after Evie had a health scare, they opted for a simpler life in Yzerfontein.
You're originally from Munich. What made you decide to move to South Africa?
I think it was time for a change for us. We were looking for a new challenge and we decided to move to South Africa. And that was actually quite an easy decision to take because it's a beautiful country, fantastic people, and you can start with a lot of new ideas, and it was our choice. And we are happy that we did that.
I'm sure the dogs must love it here too.
I think every dog would love it here. It's a beautiful part of the country and we love the West Coast very much. It's so nice to be surrounded by nature reserve.
There are many things we love here. It starts with actually waking up in the morning with the sound of the sea, and you just look outside and see the island in front of Yzerfontein, Dussen Island. So that is something we really like, and during the day it just goes on. I like to go fishing, for example. I started that here in Yzerfontein, so that is something whenever I've got time. I go out with a friend and we go out fishing and we come back in the evening with some fresh fish and we do some nice cooking. So it is a very relaxed, laid-back living here. We still work, definitely, but it's a good balance of work and time off.
The organic decor collected across the world has the feel of being left by the tide, and the entire house follows the rhythm of the Atlantic Ocean.
What an incredible view. The windows are definitely a strong feature.
That's true, yeah, it is. And we designed the windows in a special way. It creates more a picture. So we created slots so that you only see like Table Mountain and the sea and the horizon, but you don't see anything else. So that is part of that design.
The deck is absolutely magnificent. How did you make it work with the surrounding landscapes?
It is really in the natural surrounding. You have the fynbos coming close to the deck, and what we try to do with the sand pitch we've got in the center of the wooden deck is that we try to get a bit of the sand feeling up into the house, onto the deck. So when you lie there, you close your eyes, you hear the sea, and you can grab with your hands into the sand. That's a bit of the idea as well.
How would you describe the design of your home?
We like to call it a modern cubicle beach house, and the design came quite naturally to us because we have a height restriction of 8 meters in Yzerfontein. We wanted to make the best out of the view, be wind sheltered, and the sun, that you have enough light in your house, and then it came naturally.
What is the reason for the sails and how do they work with the structure?
So that big sail especially, it balances the house nicely because you have the house, the block on the one side, so with the sail on the other side there's a nice balance, and it repeats that nautical idea we have with the house. So you are here, you see the sails, you have the sound of the sails when they're flapping in the wind, so that is actually quite a nice feature to have, and you need the shade as well.
The lady of the house favors sustainable materials, lots of texture, and a mix of modern with antiques and odd finds.
I wanted to create a very calm space, so I took some colors from the sea which change constantly. I incorporated some textures to make it more interesting, and just to make a peaceful environment.
And you shouldn't forget Evie's pottery, trying to create natural ceramic.
This artwork and organic crockery traces its roots back to Evie's career as a dental technician before she got into interiors.
Do you have a favorite feature in this home?
I think I must say it's the bay window, definitely. I always envisioned that space as my reading nook. I love reading. But then our dogs fell in love with this window as well, so we are kind of fighting over it, and they usually win.
If I lived here, I know that this would be my favorite spot.
It's open house here on weekends, and since moving up the coast, this designing duo see far more of their friends, which is why they built 2 spacious ensuite guest bedrooms with full sea views and varied designs. Visitors get their morning coffee served in bed and are then encouraged to do as they please, to sleep read, or join the festivities. The first floor is where the Elsners wanted one of the centerpieces of the house. Since they couldn't get it up the stairs, they put up an exterior scaffolding, and 15 men hoisted it into place.
Evie and Joachim, this is such a statement piece. Where's it from?
I found it on auction, and it's actually a South African post office desk made out of solid teak wood. And we found the story behind it so intriguing that it's one of the 3 pieces we built the house around.
One piece is the entrance door you've seen, and it's one of the pieces we had long time before we started building and planning. So we actually built the house around that. It is always nice to have such a character piece in a new building where you can relate to history and to see all the stories behind the different pieces.
And the third piece is, of course, our long dining table, which we found in a special shop in Cape Town, and it's coming all the way from India, and it was used to cut linen on.
The sails and the strong architectural feature of narrow windows both lend the feeling of being on board a ship. But only once neighbors saw this effect from the inside looking out did they fully understand the design.
My word, this is like a little piece of heaven.
I think it's a big piece of heaven. Can you imagine waking up this every morning and have a cup of coffee while you're still in bed? And the cool thing about this window is that if you lie down in the bed, all you see is the sea and the horizon, and it's beautiful out there in the morning. It's wonderful.
What an interesting art piece.
I used this young South African artist on another project I did, and I fell so in love with the picture that I commissioned it again.
Taking a soak with the ebb and flow of the tide sounding around the bathroom. This is what Joachim needed in the early 2000s when he moved out of a top job in banking, joined Evie, and set sail for a less complicated life in a warmer climate. Mounting this oar as a handrail is a subtle statement that they are here for good.
This looks and smells amazing. What are you making?
We're gonna have some fresh homemade pasta for you today.
With tomato fish sugo.
Is it safe to say that you're the better chef then?
Now, I think on the dry side and on the rough side, I might be the better one, but otherwise Evie is definitely the more refined chef in the house.
But he always makes the most divine fresh pasta.
Thank you.
Your kitchen and dining table are impressive. I'm sure you two can throw quite the gathering.
Yes, that's what we really like to do. We have lots of guests and lots of friends coming over, and we really enjoy it.
It is the soul of the house. The kitchen and the dining table, that's where we actually spend most of the times with a friend. But you have to work for your food here. Please come over and you can give me a hand with the pasta.
No problem. My dad used to do this with me when I was a kid.
Okay, so you are professional already then. You're gonna grab the spaghetti when they come out of the machine on that side. Okay, great, fantastic.
All right, is this one?
Yes, put it in and quickly take the next one.
They've traded the famed beer and cooking of southern Germany for the wine and seafood of the West Coast. They've paired their heritage with the culture of their new home, and all seems in balance.
Evie, Joachim, your house is beautiful, tranquil, inviting. It's everything a home should be. Thank you so much for having me. As the Germans would say,
Guten Appetit.
Guten Appetit.
Guten Appetit.
The Elsners now build and decorate just one house a year, taking life in their stride and on their terms.